Hi there, my name is Chad Suits. I am here to apply for the nursing assistant position.
Hi.
Hi there. I have a copy of my resume. Did you need a copy of that, or were you able to get one when I had originally applied for the position?
I've got one in front of me. Thank you, though.
Great.
So, Mr. Suits, tell me something about yourself.
I was born and raised in this area and lived here until about 1990 when I went off to college. I then went and practiced my previous career professionally in Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. I then ended up moving back here in 2010 to help my family. My father had been diagnosed with late stage COPD, and my oldest sister, was battling depression and alcoholism. So I ended up adopting my niece and taking over her care and raised her throughout her middle school and high school years. She then went off to college and very proudly graduated from college in Berlin, Germany, where she now works and resides with her fiance.
Great. What is your greatest strength?
I would have to say my greatest strength is going to be the fact that I have a real heart for caregiving. Making sure that people are comfortable and taken care of in any situation is something that I really enjoy doing. I love getting to know somebody, which helps me to understand the right path of care that is going to benefit that patient the most. I'm also very detail oriented. After years of quality control in manufacturing, I have honed my skills in being able to see problems that some other people may see, whether it's with the medical profession or just even how a room may be set up.
What do you feel you can contribute to this company?
Well, I really think that I can contribute a very strong ethic and an eagerness to learn how to find areas that are going to benefit from my talents and skills in numerous fields. I have a desire to learn, and I'm always willing to pick up new skills in any trade. I have a variety of skill paths that I have followed, from manufacturing and quality control to financing to hospitality to business to management. And I always enjoy learning new skills in different fields and using those skills in a new position to help advance myself within that company and my ability to serve that company.
Fantastic. So, here's a difficult question. Describe a difficult work situation or project and how you overcame it.
Well, recently I had a situation with a very polite and loving elderly patient. The real problem was actually that her entire family was coming in and out of her room every day, every minute. There sometimes would be 10 or more family members in the room. They were so deeply enmeshed in her care and her welfare. And all of them wanted answers from me and from some of the other nurses about anything and everything that might be happening with that patient, whether it was her symptoms she might be going through right then, or her health care and the outcomes that might be expected from what we were doing with her. So many of our other nurses were starting to get very visibly frustrated and stressed out from all of these people asking questions all the time. And they would even be asking questions of the nurses that weren't in charge of that patient's care. So I finally pulled a few of the sons and daughters aside from out of the room, and we had a conversation in the hallway and described the situation and how we worked. And that was that there would be only one nurse that was in charge of the care of their family member, and that would be the only nurse that would be able to answer any questions each day regarding that patient's care. And they could see that nurse's name was always written on the dry erase information board within the room. So I made sure that they were aware that that nurse would most likely be even a different nurse every day due to the rotation of the shifts. So since I was not a nurse, I then was not able to have much of the information they were looking for. So I couldn't answer many of the questions that they were asking regarding that patient's outcome. I also told them that what they would need to do is possibly to select a specific member of their family to act as a liaison between their family and the nurse in charge of their healthcare that day. And that person's name would also be written up on the board, so not only would the nurse's name be listed there for the family, but the family member who would be in charge of asking questions for the entire family would also be up on the board for the nurses to be able to look at. And then they would know who they needed to talk to each and every day. So then all of those family questions would have to go through that specific liaison, and they could only be asked by that one person each day. It didn't have to be the same person every day, but they had to be the one person asking questions whenever they needed information. And then they also needed to understand that outside of that one nurse and that one specific doctor who might be on rotation through that day, none of the other nurses had any information or any knowledge about the treatment, the outcomes, any kind of response as to what the patient was going through, due to the fact that nurses were not allowed to have conversations about such things due to the relevant HIPAA violations that can occur, which would make it illegal for that nurse to have conversations about their family member.
How do you handle difficult patients?
Well, one of the things about patients is you need to understand that most of the time their difficulty, their stress is coming from the fact that they're just scared. They have no idea what might be happening next. They have no idea about how serious they really are, how the outcomes of any kind of treatments. They don't know if they're going to be going into surgery, don't know what the medication is going to be doing to them. So it's a lot of fear based on the unknown. So I think that the most important thing to do with any patient is to make sure that you develop a sense of trust with that person. I try to make sure that I keep all of my answers as truthful as I can with them. And as I say, as I can, it's mainly because I may just not have the information, but I try to do it in as truthful and sometimes as humorous a way as possible. I want to try to show them that I am there to help take care of all of their most basic comforts. I will try to find them the answers that they are maybe not getting. And since I usually don't have those answers myself, I do at least know the people that need to be asked so that we can get those answers.
Great. Mr. Suits, how do you prioritize your patients when you have several to take care of?
Well, that's generally how almost every day goes here in the hospital. At the beginning of my shift, first thing that we have to do is have a shift handoff between the overnight, if I'm usually working first shift, between the overnight nursing assistants and myself. So our first priority is to do that handoff and get that information from the previous nurse, and we walk door to door from each patient's rooms so that we can get that information and know who we're speaking of and what their issues are and what they might be going through and what they need throughout the day. After that handoff, I then start with all of the rooms with patients that might be needing blood glucose checks, because those all need to be done, all those fingerprint checks need to be done before the nurse can then verify and allow the person to even have breakfast in the morning, because we have to check their blood sugar. After that, I then go to every other patient's rooms. I introduce myself, see what they need immediately, including any assistance that they may need to getting into the bathroom. I will get them fresh water. I will update their information board so that they know who their nurse is going to be for that day and who they're going to be talking to. Many days I'm not really able to prioritize outside of those very specific needs. Assisting one patient may be interrupted by another patient pressing their call light and having another immediate need, such as just having to go to the bathroom. So I can only give my full attention to the patient one at a time, but I also have to be able to trust and be able to count on and rely on all my other coworkers to help me to be able to fulfill those patient needs as quickly as we possibly can.
Chad, what motivates you?
I would say my biggest motivator, strangely enough, is just variety and change. It's one of the things I love about the nursing profession, is that every day is a new and different challenge. I love to be a problem solver, especially working through other people's problems. Never any good with my own, but I really have fun and love to work through other people's problems to help them to get through them. I enjoy meeting new people and getting to know new people, and love working in the healthcare, because the healthcare industry gives me plenty of opportunities to engage with other patients and with new people and their families.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do. I have a couple of questions. One thing that I hadn't discussed with anyone yet was what do you guys consider to be your expectations for a new nursing assistant when they're hired on? Specifically, I'd say within their first 3 months. What kind of training would we be going through, and how long on average before a newly hired nursing assistant might be on their own and no longer following another nursing assistant with more experience? And then next, my other question is, how does the hospital organize their scheduling for the nursing assistants? And does that position only work within this one department, or are we going to be responsible for going into other departments, such as into surgery, emergency, hospice, anything like that? Are we expected to work within those other departments within the hospital also? Okay, well, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Please feel free. You can contact me. You've got my number and my email on the resume and on the application, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.